Okay, so we're going to practice printing all of the letters we just covered in our review. So the way that I teach them to print these letters is we start with Nosy Ned's nose. And Nosy Ned's nose likes to float right below the ceiling. We call this the floor of our house. This is the ceiling. And then this is the roof. This is the first floor area, and this is the attic. This is the basement, and this is the roof right here. Okay, so we're going to go through our steps. We always start with our pencil on Nosy Ned's nose. Now, I'm doing this left-handed, I know, but you can get the idea. So we always start with our pencil on Nosy Ned's nose, and we go over the head, Nosy Ned, bump his head on the ceiling, bump his head on the floor, and then touch his nose again. We jokingly in class talk about how we don't want to chop his head off and bust his head through the ceiling, because then he'll be crying and bleeding all over the place, and we don't want to make him sad. And we certainly don't want to bust his feet through the floor, because then he'll be sad and his legs will be broken and it'll be so sad. We don't want to be mean to our letter O friend. So we're going to make sure that we don't bust his head through the ceiling. So just touch the ceiling and touch the floor and then touch his nose. So remember, we always go over the head, Nosy Ned, and then around and touch. Over the head, Nosy Ned. Over the head, Nosy Ned. Printing in the right direction is very, very important in brain development. So we want to really make sure that the kids are not going backwards or going under. We want to make sure that they are going over the head, because most of our letters are formed in the same way. So really focus on how your child is printing the letters and make sure that they are starting from the midpoint and going over the top. And don't chop his head off or chop his feet off. Okay, that's the letter O. Let's review the letter A. Okay, letter A is done much the same way. We start with Nosy Ned's nose, and we go over the head, Nosy Ned. Don't chop his head off, don't chop his feet off. And when we get to his nose, we actually get to go back up and touch the ceiling again, and back down and touch the floor again. Let's try that one more time. Start on Nosy Ned's nose, over the head, Nosy Ned. Touch the ceiling, touch the floor. One more time. Over the head, Nosy Ned. Touch the ceiling, touch the floor. All right, that's the letter A. Now let's try the letter C. We'll just go down here at the bottom. Letter C also starts with Nosy Ned's nose. We go over the head, Nosy Ned. But we want to stop before we get to his nose. Again, make sure you don't chop his head off and don't chop his feet off, and stop before you get back to his nose. Over the head, Nosy Ned, and stop. Okay, so these are the letters A and C. Let's do the next two. The letter G is done the exact same way. We start on Nosy Ned's nose, and we go over the head, Nosy Ned. And then we touch the ceiling. This time we get to go down into the basement and tickle the lady's throat. Start on Nosy Ned's nose. Go over the head, Nosy Ned. Don't chop his head off or his feet off. Touch the ceiling. Go down through the floor into the basement and tickle the lady's throat. Try one more. Over the head, Nosy Ned. Touch the ceiling. Go down and tickle the lady's throat. Okay. Now let's try the letter T. Letter T is what we call one of our Santa Claus letters. Santa Claus will land on the roof. He doesn't start walking in your front door down here on the floor. He starts on the roof. So we're going to start on the roof with the letter T and go all the way down the chimney and down to the floor. Then we get to go back up into the attic on our way back out. Santa Claus is going to go back out, and he's going to cross the T before he leaves. Start on the roof, go all the way down to the floor. On your way back out, cross it in the attic. We want to make sure that they're not crossing on the line, because with their light print handwriting, As you can even see on the video, sometimes it's very hard to see if that T is even crossed, and then it would look like the letter L. So we really encourage them to cross up here in the attic. All right, one more letter that we need to go over. It's also a Santa Claus letter. It's our newest letter. This time we are going to start with Nosy Ned's nose. For the letter D, for that D, D, D sound, we want to make sure that the duck can dive in. So we're going to make the duck's diving hole first. So start on his nose and go over the head, Nosy Ned, make the diving hole first. Now go up to the roof, Santa Claus, and then back down. One more time. Start with Nosy Ned's nose. Give the duck his diving hole. Then you can go up to the roof and down. Always give your duck his diving hole first. Then go up and then back down. Okay, so I've covered how to print all of the letters that we have learned so far. Practice these at home. I'm going to assign some things in IXL to you for you to practice these letter sounds. And when we come back for our next lesson, we will put some of these letters together and make some words. Okay, thanks so much for watching. I love you guys a lot. I miss you, and we'll see you on the next video.